What's going on, everybody? Welcome to RJF Media. I'm Rob. Sorry I haven't been around in a little bit. Just a bunch of work and everything came up and just took my time away from this to that. But before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, leave comments, tell me what you think, tell me what you want to see next. But on this one, I'm going to make it kind of quick. With all the time I had with doing everything else I was doing other than this, I was really thinking what the Jets need to do in order to be just competitive in general and help grow their organization and just become a better team. And, I was watching and listening to YouTube, throughout the past week or so. And, you see Jets should go out and trade this for this player, go out and sign this player, draft this player. And I kind of want to go a different route. I want to kind of think more what they can do internally to help grow their team. And I came up with a list of 3 things, and that's what I want to talk about today. The first thing that I think that this organization needs to do in order to improve is they need to adapt. We saw throughout the season, the second Rodgers went down, this team just wasn't able to adapt. The offense, Hackett and Saleh, continuously saying that this offense was built around Rodgers, and the struggle was to be able to adapt it to other quarterbacks that came in the system, and that just can't happen this year. As we all know, Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old, coming off a major injury. So what this team really needs to do is be able to look themselves in the mirror and adapt to the talent they have around that team. It can't just be all about Aaron Rodgers. It can't just be only Aaron Rodgers can run this offense, and then, if something happens and we'll kind of, we'll just keep kicking the can down the road and keep running the same offense, and, no one else can run it, so I don't know what to do. This team needs to adapt. This team as bad as this offense was, it does have talent on that side of the ball with, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Conklin, Rucker. There is some talent on this team, on this offensive side of the ball, and the Jets need to find ways to bring that talent forward. They need to have an offense that if Rodgers goes down again, it might drop a tick, but it doesn't really skip a beat. If that makes any sense, that the offense can continue to flow. So that's the first thing this team needs to do, is just adapt to, and be willing to adapt, because over and over this team, I keep saying this offense just looked completely unwilling to change what they do. How many times did all of us say that drive made no sense, that play call made no sense, and it goes back to, well, if Rodgers was there, he'd check out of it. He would do this, he would do that. But Aaron Rodgers wasn't there, and we weren't able to maximize the talent that we had on that side of the ball. So this team, this organization just needs to be willing to adapt to the talent they have. You have it, utilize it in the best way that they can be successful, because you see other teams throughout the league be able to do that. The Browns did it, and they had quarterback problems. The Texans did it. They had a rookie quarterback. They maximized his talent, C.J. Stroud's talent. Just all the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers and Nate Hackett's former team, they were able to adapt to what Jordan Love does well. And those young receivers that Rodgers had trouble with actually looked a lot better this season with, essentially a rookie QB, because he, I think, played a game, or, how he was very, very limited. This is his first real action as a starting QB in this league. So adapt. That's number 1. Number 2, they need to start holding, this is a 2-parter. They need to start holding accountability and set higher standards. Again, this goes back to Aaron Rodgers and his injury 4 plays in, and from then on, it just kind of seemed like this organization put their hands up and took a mulligan for the season because Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. There was no accountability on the offensive side of the ball as far as coaching goes. Just horrendous play, 31st ranked offense, 31st or 32nd ranked offensive line. Players dropping balls, players not running the right routes, players missing assignments, missing blocks, completely whiffing on plays, and there was no accountability. You never saw anyone any of the coaches pull these players aside and talk to them. And I'm not saying you have to chew them out. I'm not saying that you have to cuss them out or make them look bad on TV, but simply talk to them, correct the mistakes as they're happening. Don't let these things happen. And then in the press conference at the end of the game, say, oh, well, I got to watch the film. I got to, we'll address it in practice. And then say we had this great week of practice and, we're the practice kings. No one practices better than us. And then you still look terrible on game day. So it's like, what are you practicing? How are you holding anyone accountable? And honestly, mainly this is for coaches, because especially when it comes to the O-line, O-line is the most coach-needed position in the sport aside from QB. And if these young guys, these backups and everything else are coming in and they're not being coached, they're looking clueless every game, and they're not being taught what to do, what to look for. Look for this blitz, look for that stunt. If the defense does this, look for this, then it means this. Then they can't be successful. I think a lot of the O-line problems had to do with coaching, because if these guys just had zero talent whatsoever, and granted, they might not be the best backups in the world, but you can at least make them look serviceable a little bit, and they just didn't look like that. And I think that all comes down to holding accountability and setting higher standards. No, we're not going to accept this. This is the standard we want to set. And you hear the Jets, coaching staff and Joe Douglas say that all offseason is we hold this standard and, we want to be the best culture, all this, blah, 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 blah. But they don't show it. So that's why I was saying it's a two-parter. They kind of go together, accountability and standards. That's number two. The third and last thing I think is the most important for the Jets to be successful this coming season. I think they need to find an identity. They need to create an identity that they want on offense. Defense, they've shown it, the multiple pass rushers, get after the quarterback, disrupt the quarterback, shut down the team in the back end with the cornerbacks. But on offense, there's no identity. And I thought about this a lot with the Lions and Rams playoff game, because Chris Collinsworth in the fourth quarter actually mentioned something that really caught my attention. He said, last season, the Lions did nothing well on defense. So in the offseason, after the season was over, the coaching staff and the organization came together, and they wanted to focus on something they wanted to do well. And this season they ended up doing that with run defense. So and they made it happen. They were very good on run defense. And what that does is that opens up first that takes away a whole entire element of, maybe not completely, but really diminishes an entire element of an offense. So it allows that offense to kind of become one-dimensional, and then you can work off that and build off that. And I really thought about that, and this is exactly what the Jets need to do in offense, because they did nothing well, right? They didn't run the ball well, pass the ball well, catch the ball well, pass block, run block, scheming. They did nothing well. So then you sit there and you think, what's the identity of this offense? They say they want to be ground and pound to open up the passing game and all this, but going back to what I said earlier, a lot of these running plays and the scheme, it didn't make sense. So it's like you look at this offense, and say, what's the identity? What are we supposed to be here? And the identity cannot be Aaron Rodgers, because again, one day Aaron Rodgers is not going to be playing football anymore. It could be next year, it could be 2 years from now, it could be whatever. And especially if you want to attract free agents, they can't look at this team and say, well, the identity is Aaron Rodgers. But he's not going to play forever, so then what are we trying to accomplish? And that's why I think identity, to me, is the most important one on this list that I made, because you have to figure out what you want to be. Again, because we don't know what this offense wants to be. We don't know what it is. They're kind of just fitting players into this system that didn't work, but this is what they're forcing, and it made no sense. There's no identity. And that's what you need in this league. If they focus, okay, we want to be the best running game in the league. Well, then you can build the offensive line off that. You can build the play calling off of that. You can get your backup running back to fit that, and then it'll make sense. And then that opens up the pass game, or whatever it may be else that you want to try to do. But they need to find one thing on offense that they want to be competent at, do well, and execute well. And again, this all comes back to coaching, and it needs to be coached, this identity. The faster you find that identity, the faster you can coach it, the faster you can perform it, and the faster you can execute it. So, just to wrap up, those are my 3 things. Again, is adaptability, hold accountability, and set higher standards, and also find an identity on offense. So, that's all I got. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think are 3 things? What else do you think this team needs to perform from the inside as an organization as a whole? Or did I get something wrong? Did I get it all right? Let me know. And until then, talk to you soon.